Hello, my name is Lon Safko, co-author of the Social Media Bible, published by John Wiley & Sons, the most comprehensive book ever written on the subject of social media. Today we're here with Kyle Ford, Director of Product Marketing for Ning, the social network platform that you can build yourself, and we'll be speaking today about social media, of course, and social networks, and especially Ning. So, Kyle, hey, cool. It's great to have you here today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's get started. Kyle, could you start out by kind of telling the listeners a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. Yeah, I have been at Ning since December of '05, so fairly close to the beginning. Ning launched publicly in October of '05, so I came on board a few months after launch as one of the first two product managers. Before that, I was at Yahoo TV and movies. I'm actually based in Los Angeles, so I come from kind of an entertainment background. So I was at Yahoo TV and movies for about a year and a half, and before that, for several years at Fox Broadcasting Company, doing a lot of the primetime show television sites.
Oh, wow.
Interactive content for that kind of stuff.
Well, that's pretty. You were working with websites and for the multimedia for.
That's correct. Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so you understand a lot about building trusted networks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you explain to our listeners, just in case they have never heard of Ning, what Ning is exactly?
Yeah, so Ning is, in the shortest way to describe it, basically your own social network for anything. So without being any sort of a computer nerd and not having to know any programming or anything, you can go to Ning.com and in a matter of a couple minutes create your own social networks. And by that I don't just mean a page on a Facebook or MySpace, but literally your own Facebook or MySpace in its entirety. So you could use it for sports team, church, family. If you have an existing media brand, you have a band, any use you can think of for a social network, you can have it up and running in just a matter of minutes. And you just drag and drop to add features and pick a style, and you're ready to go. And we host it and deal with all the fairly scary stuff like security and scaling and things like that. So all you need to worry about is bringing your idea to the table, and you can go from there. And the best part is it's free, and you can extend it a little bit more with some premium services if you want. But by default, it's ad supported with Google AdSense ads, so free to you as the end user.
See, I love that, and that's one of the things that's really exciting about social media is that you hear so many of these incredible technologies that are available to the user 100% free in one of two ways. Either they're advertising supportive or they're freemiums, meaning, of course, you can get the basic service for free and then you just pay for the higher level. And, okay, so let me get this right, and I'm going to use the F word here, Facebook.
Yep.
You can actually create something like your very own Facebook for your group, your friends, your colleagues, people that have a similar interest?
That's correct, yep. So, we are certainly, fans of Facebook. I use Facebook all the time. But, when I have an organization or, some sort of property that I want to kind of blow out social media-wise, Facebook groups can be, fairly limiting. You only do a certain amount of things. So we'll see a lot of people that, they'll have a fairly successful online presence, whether it's a Facebook, group or a MySpace page. They want to actually create their own full-on community so that they'll come to us and yes, they can, add video sharing, photo sharing, profiles, calendars, music, any kind of ingredient you want to scoop on your tray, you can do that. And then, of course, we have kind of tentacles going back to the other sites, too, so you can also then, to kind of go back to where you started, you can promote your social network on Facebook or MySpace through lots of different embeddables. So we're certainly, we certainly invite people to, be everywhere, but we, are fans of kind of having everything centralized on your own network, which, if you use one of our premium services, could be on your own domain, too. So completely your brand, and then from there you can kind of extend out to other social media properties too to spread the word.
So your business model actually is based on freemium. You can get all of these incredible tools for free, but if you want to upgrade to your own domain, it's just a small fee.
Yeah, so what we have is, the full functionality is free for everyone. The only things that we charge for, which are our premium services, are number one is $5 a month to map your own domain name. So you get rid of yourname.ning.com and just do yourname.com. Wow. And then we have, for $20 a month, you can strip out our Google ads altogether. And buy out your site's full ad inventory and run as many ads as you want to do. So there's no rev share or anything. It's literally just $20, and you can do whatever you want ad-wise. And then we have another service, which I think is currently like $8 a month, which is remove any kind of powered by Ning branding, so you don't have Bob created this network on Ning and here and there, so you can take it out and completely have it be your own world. So altogether, it's like $33 a month or something like that to pretty much have your own piece of the social networking world.
To me, that's totally amazing that you can get your own MySpace platform for $5, $8, $20. I mean, even
exactly, yeah.
Even one.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, one of the cool things about it too is on top of how relatively inexpensive it is to do that, we're also constantly rolling out new features every 2 or 3 weeks. So if we're missing a certain feature, the odds are that it will come out in the next release. And so as long as you're on what we call our centralized code, which is what most people are, as soon as we push out new updates, you automatically get new features as well. And so, to mention centralized code, we also have, I think, what separates us a little bit, even more from some other services is if you are a developer and you want to go completely under the hood and actually, change the source code of your network, we freely give out the source code to the entire PHP side of the product, which is the social network product. So if you request it when you're a developer, you can actually kind of jump off the automatic update train and completely change your code. So you can, essentially, we're giving you your own network, and you can do whatever you want to do with it.
So the technology is also completely across the board. It can be everything from drag and drop for the novice right down to the PHP programmer.
Exactly. So we try to do, like Grandma's sewing circle can drag and drop in a couple minutes, and a designer that is comfortable with some light HTML and CSS can go in and do some stuff with and still be centralized, and then like you said, like the PHP expert can go in and if they want to decentralize and really do whatever they want.
Geez. And the other thing that I'm hearing is that, I mean, of course, the social media Bible is all about social media, and of course, trusted networks and social networks is all about social media. But I'm also hearing that you guys can pretty much add, or anybody can add, almost any social media tools, whether it's video or podcasts or anything.
Yeah, so we have, as one of our built-in features is, I think we have up to 10 of each on the home page and currently one of each on member profile pages. Free-form RSS boxes, which can accept a feed from anywhere if you want to pull in content from elsewhere, and then also free HTML boxes. So you can use the text editor to add content in. If you're a beginner, if you know HTML, you can drop HTML in there. You can drop in embeddables from elsewhere. And then what's also exciting is that we're about 2 weeks away, so fairly close. We're going to be rolling out full support for OpenSocial, which is Google's kind of open application program where supported sites, what they call containers, can enable OpenSocial applications to run on them. So there'll be a whole suite of third-party apps that people will be able to add to their social networks. So if we don't offer something, there's the odds are you'll be able to browse our OpenSocial gallery and just with one click add that to your page, and that'll hopefully offer some functionality that we're not.
And that's really exciting, too. I did get a chance to actually interview Kevin Marks, who is running the OpenSocial over at Google, and he did an incredible interview. I can't believe, I'm actually really shocked and surprised, pleasantly so, that OpenSocial, you guys are actually going to launch it already?
Yeah, so when Google first announced it late last year, we supported it in a very beta, fairly alpha fashion, and it sat there for a while, and it's just been kind of stagnant, frankly. And so what we're trying to do is we're upping it to, a very recent spec and doing some real deep integration to make it, very simple for our members to add it to their pages. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about it, too. It's going to be a very integrated part of Ning. So I think the current date, kind of street date for that is the 22nd. So, we're coming up very soon.
Wow, that's incredible. Because from our listeners' perspective, if you haven't heard Kevin Marks' interview on OpenSocial, and having this capability built into Ning is really incredible. Go listen to that podcast, and you'll understand. And my hat's off to you guys for actually incorporating this into your technology this fast.
No, it's going to be. I think it's going to be fantastic. And OpenSocial right now is essentially limited to profile pages on the network because most services like a MySpace or a High Five, you as the member only control your profile page. But we're a little different in that if you're the creator of a network on Ning, you also have access to the main page too. So you have access to the full social network. So we're also working fairly soon to extend OpenSocial from profile pages also to the main page of the network. So at that point, it becomes kind of a feature on par with our standard features, which would be very exciting.
Well, that's incredible to have that kind of technology under the hood. And the thing that's really exciting is it's pretty much drag and drop.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's cool. Can you give me an idea, like a profile of who's actually using Ning? What are they using it for? What type of people are involved?
Yeah, so I think we're interesting in that we are all over the board. We have our demographics are everywhere. We do have some older users, which is on something like a Myspace, which is used fairly young. We have a lot of social networks. People have created company intranets, or like I said, church groups, or our family groups. And we do have people that are that come from the Myspace and Facebook world. We also have people that are completely new to social networking, and now that they see sort of a reason for them to socially network, they didn't necessarily just want to collect friends before or something, but if their kid's soccer team is using it, then they may be more apt to join it. So we see people from small groups doing stuff all the way to huge recording artists. Like we have 50 Cent uses us, Radiohead uses us, a lot of big bands have set up their official social networking presences to us, so we see. Really, I guess the short answer is that it's all over the place, and that's exciting to us because every day we see social network for some niche we would never have imagined would spring up, but it's great. Currently we're adding about 2,000 new networks a day, so it's growing fairly quickly, and we just are about to cross 450,000 networks that are living on the platform now, so it's growing extremely fast.
You actually have almost 500,000 networks already.
Yep, we'll hit that. I'm sure probably by the end of September we should hit that.
Oh my gosh! So the thing that I'm hearing that's exciting is that your demographic pretty much is identical to the demographic of social media, which really includes like the entire world.
Exactly. I mean, that's what our CEO Gina. She has always said that she envisions millions of social networks. Yeah, potentially everyone could have their own social network, and one of the things we work through is obviously people get there's social networking fatigue. Why would I sign up for one more network? I've signed up for so many. We try to since they all are all tied together with the Ning ID, the email login we have. So you join one and you can join them all without having to sign up again. We certainly see kind of value in having a different persona in different in different scenarios. As you do in real life. You may want to share different media with your soccer team than you do with your 50 Cent fan base than you do with your church group. So we allow you to be a member of all those kind of disparate communities, but at the end of the day, they're still sharing the same login, so it's convenient for the users.
That is convenient. So basically, I can pretty much set like limits to or levels to which personal information is shared with each of the different groups.
Right. So when you sign up, you have a base profile that goes across all of them. Things like age, sex, location. You can omit things if you want to, obviously. And then within each network, you have your own set of profile questions. So yes, you can have different photo and questions and persona on different networks you belong to. They're all sharing the same stuff.
Man, that is really powerful. And we're using Ning. One of the companies that I recently founded is the World Webinar Network, and we immediately set it up on Ning. And it's absolutely incredible how many people. I mean, all we have to do is just drive them there, and we're really building social communities. I mean, we're getting emails, we're getting people signed up. It's leading to the people who are part of the Ning network asking us to join their other networks, such as Facebook and MySpace and LinkedIn. So at first, I kind of thought you guys might have been somewhat competing with these other, but it really seems like you really have your own unique, broader niche.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I think we're kind of complementary to them. Like the quick thing we always say is that joining a lot of those networks is kind of like joining their world, and that's great. And using Ning is kind of like essentially like creating your own world. So, and we certainly, like I said, we have lots of viral tools going in and out of different services. You can pull in all your photos from Flickr with just a couple of clicks in the Ning. We can create Facebook apps from your Ning media players, like your photos, videos, and music. You can, with a couple of clicks, add them to your Facebook page. And like I said, all sorts of kind of cut and paste embeddables to put on MySpace and elsewhere. So we're all about spreading it around and kind of essentially maintaining your brand in one place and then but spreading the love everywhere.
Well, I like what you said is spreading the brand, because in business, particularly myself, I have my own brand, and it's really difficult without OpenSocial and having all of these independent different types of networks set up. But really, Ning does let me kind of create the foundation for my brand by pulling in. That's an incredible tool. That's really neat.
Exactly. Yeah.
If someone actually wanted to get started using Ning, we just heard it's not an expensive process, but is it difficult to log on, create an account, and after?
No, I mean, yeah, my goal is that my grandmother could do it, and who can barely turn a computer on could do it in a minute or less. And so yes, if you go to Ning.com, there's just a couple sign-up fields, and then you type in your network and hit launch and you're set. So it's about as easy as it can get.
Wow. Another question that continuously comes up, and it mostly comes up from people who don't understand the term social media or social networking, is concerns. If my teenage daughter is going to go on there and create a Ning account, is there anything that she should be careful of, I should be careful of, or even as a business person, is there any kind of cautions or things to watch out for?
Yeah, I think social networking, certainly gets demonized a lot. When you hear the Myspace horror stories or teenagers posting photos of themselves that they shouldn't be doing. I think Ning is different in that you're not necessarily joining Ning. Typically you're joining a community on Ning. Mm-hmm. So, yes, the audience for somebody like 50 Cent is going to be different from a kind of a tamer site or something like that. Yeah. But, within, there are certainly quite a few privacy controls that are built in for the network creator when they create it. So, if you wanted to create a, kind of a safe, network for your family, you can certainly do so, and you can make it private, only viewable by invitation. You can moderate photos and videos before they appear. You can ban, if someone on a public network was, being troublesome, you can ban, and there's all sorts of kind of controls that you have. I think Ning is interesting in that, it can very often serve, if it's someone's first social networking experience, it can kind of serve as a way to train people as to what appropriate behavior is in a social media context. And so if you start you give them a free and friendly space, they're much more apt to kind of learn to love the technology, and they may branch out from there. But I think in a kind of Wild West scenario, like MySpace is often portrayed as, anything goes. It can certainly be scary. It means I certainly advocate for people that are new to it, joining a private network or a safe network, just kind of get their bearings and see what's going on.
I'm glad to hear that you use the term safe network. And one of the things that after interviewing people in my own personal experiences with social media, I'm hearing that social media people who participate in trusted quote-unquote networks kind of police themselves. They kind of keep the right thing.
Yeah, I think like Wikipedia is a great example of that. You see someone deface someone's Wikipedia page, and a whole host of people will spring to action. Sometimes minutes later, and resolve is kind of like a self-healing phenomenon. Pretty interesting,
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Amanda Vega, who is kind of an expert at comment marketing, the morning that I interviewed her, she was telling me that she was on LinkedIn, and somebody on LinkedIn blew out an email to everybody saying, hey, I do consulting. I'm available to speak for your company. Here's my web address. Let me know how you can hire me. And I think the term that she uses is that she got totally flamed.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And it's kind of cool, too, also to hear that you guys create safe networks. You can do by invitation only. A lot of the safety.
In fact, we haven't recently done this, but initially when we were kind of still educating people on, being a network, because a lot of people are members of these larger networks, but they've never been a network creator per se. So Gina had done a series of great blog posts on her Ning blog, which equated creating a social network to throwing a party and what a good host does and things you can do, and you got to throw the rowdy guests out and things like that. So it's pretty interesting stuff. If you think about the difference in the role between joining a social network and actually maintaining one day to day, it can be an interesting challenge, but it's pretty rewarding if you get a kind of a thriving community up and running.
Well, yeah, I look what did Facebook sell, 10% of its network for $1.6 billion?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, I'm all in it, man. We can get my network to that point. I love that.
There you go.
And along that line, can you think of anybody who's using Ning a business or a small entrepreneurial type person that has a success story that you might be able to share with our listeners?
Sure, and we've seen quite a few. I'm trying to think of a small. I don't know if I have a small example offhand. I could certainly find you some, but we've seen some pretty large companies do some interesting things. A great example of that is Saturn, the car company. Yeah. They have, as you know, probably a pretty rabid fan base for their cars. So they created a site called I Am Saturn using Ning, just for their aficionados of Saturn cars to connect with each other, and it's been very successful. We've also seen just kind of not necessarily one-off, but kind of time-based promotions. Fujifilm had a new camera they launched, and they just did a social network around the camera that's actually been pretty successful with some events in various areas that it tied into. We also saw, of all things, WD-40 social network.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, it shows you the links that people will go to when they're creating stuff. But a lot of interesting stuff people are doing with brands. Like I mentioned, we certainly see a lot of success with bands, musical acts, both large and small people. That's kind of a natural because it's you have an existing brand. Typically, you have an existing fan base. A lot of these people have been collecting emails over the years. Maybe they've got a mailing list, and so this is like the next step where they'll create a they create a social network. They've got a fan base. They can blast an email inviting them all in, and then fans will go to shows and record videos and photos and upload it themselves. So you can have a pretty interesting kind of communal experience with fans. And of course, they're more apt to become even bigger fans if they're talking directly to band members and interacting and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool. In fact, we just along those lines, we just rolled out. Like I said, we roll out these features all the time. We just rolled out live chat last week, so that's been a pretty big hit so far too.
Oh, really? You actually have live chat built right into it?
Yeah. So if you go to the features page, you can drag it in, and you'll have it. So pretty simple.
Oh my gosh! And yeah, you're right. I never thought about it, but musical bands. I mean, God, that should be like a primary demographic.
Yeah, and that's kind of what has always been MySpace's bread and butter. People making MySpace pages that they got their start with lots of band interest. Now we're seeing a lot of bands kind of becoming a little bit savvier, and they're saying, well, I don't want MySpace.com/my band name to be my URL. I don't want MySpace keeping all the ad revenue. If my site's successful, how can I take that to the next level? And so we're seeing a lot of people come to us.
And that's a really good point, too, is that you're not trying to be greedy or selfish here.
Right.
You're helping the people who have a limited budget, and at any time they can inexpensively kind of buy their way up through so that they actually own 100% of their own community.
Yep, exactly.
And that's go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
Well, Fortune 500 companies. I mean, geez, Saturn, Fuji, WD-40.
Sure.
How slick is that? Of course, they have, I think you used the word rabid fans for Saturn.
Yep.
That's absolutely true. They do have a real trusted network, a real following.
Sure. Yeah, and I think it speaks to, how really difficult it is to, create something like this from scratch. I mean, you're talking, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions to get, social networking is kind of like setting up a static website. There's quite a few components, obviously, in terms of doing all the interactivity, making sure you're scaling, making sure you're secure, making sure you can, accept videos and transcode them. I mean, there's a lot of fairly scary back-end stuff involved. So even people you would assume would absolutely do it themselves, like some large companies or media companies, will still go to us just because, A, it's a lot cheaper, and B, they can turn it around so quickly. I think a great example of that, which was kind of prior to our most recent products, but we had a product before this, which was a little bit more rudimentary, but it was kind of leading up to our existing products. But we had a lot of television shows use us to create web applications very quickly because, in the world of network TV nowadays, you never know if the show's going to be around for more than 2 weeks.
Right.
So they'll create kind of a compelling little web property. And if it succeeds, great. They've spent $30. If it fails, they've spent $30. So
Yeah, I like that idea too. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Hollywood is kind of hit and miss. I just saw the TV show or TV set the other night, which is a movie about the pilots.
Yeah, James Company's on, right? I think.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh my God, that is definitely an industry that I don't think I want to play in. But
totally.
Yeah, Ning would be off the charts for something like Hollywood, doing TVs or movies or pilots or even just movie launches. I mean, something like Kung Fu Panda or
yeah, totally. That's definitely something. I mean, I'm in LA. We have another guy in LA, so we have so we definitely do a lot of meetings along those lines. So it's something we hope to grow.
Wow, great product. So to kind of summarize, is there anything else that you can think of? I mean, I'm even embarrassed to ask this question with all the stuff that you talked about. Is there anything else that you can tell our listeners about Ning?
I think the general product. I think the product really speaks for itself in this case. I think the best experience is to go there and create one, and invite your friends in, try to build a base. But I think it's pretty exciting to use. I think in terms of things that are on the horizon, like I said, OpenSocial is going to be a huge initiative for us. Also next Tuesday, so I guess a week from today, that's getting that quickly, but we're releasing an iPhone interface to all the Ning networks, so we'll turn on across all the, like I said, nearly 500,000 networks. They'll get a custom iPhone version that inherits the colors and styles of their main network, so it'll be kind of like releasing 500,000 iPhone web apps at once. So that will be pretty exciting. And so that will be the first kind of toe in the water towards the mobile strategy. Obviously, the iPhone is kind of the sexiest device right now, which is why we started with that, but that's not to say that we won't, extend that to other devices going forward. And obviously mobile social networking is going to become more and more compelling, especially as we start to, in the next few years, tap into things like location-based stuff. If you have a network of friends and you're going to a location you might want to see, on a map where people are at a given moment. I mean, there's all sorts of interesting things you can do with mobile technology. So that's something we're starting down the path for, and certainly keeping our eye on. But that's something that we'll start next week, and then hopefully grow from there. But I think you'll definitely see another thing we'll be working on will be ways to effectively manage the fact that you may belong to 20 or 25 Ning networks. I mean, right now, most people belong to just a handful, but as it becomes more popular, we see people signing up for all different kinds of interests, and it's becoming more and more unwieldy to manage that and just to physically go back and see what's going on across those networks. So there'll be some solutions along those lines to make things easier in terms of belonging to more and more networks and making it convenient to do so.
That's really cool. One quick question: do you have a widget for Twitter?
We don't have a widget. Certainly you can put your Twitter feed into our RSS box, and people do that all the time. But we hope to see, and we may build it ourselves as an OpenSocial application. But I'm sure there'll also be some third-party OpenSocial apps that will pull, recent tweets and stuff like that. So that'll be great. Yeah,
that's really good. So Kyle, can you tell our listeners where they can find out more information about Ning? How do they get started?
Sure, yeah. So like I said, Ning.com is the place to create your network. If you've created a network and you want to talk to other people that have to exchange tips, we have a social network for it, obviously. It's called networkcreators.ning.com, and that's kind of our hub for people sharing information and information about new stuff. And then one of the sites I would plug is it's preview.ning.com. That's where we'll kind of show you screens and screencasts and information about what's coming down the pike, either a few weeks or sometimes as far as a few months in advance. We try to keep our user base pretty well informed of what's coming, so they can because obviously they're network creators too, so they want to inform their members too. So we don't want to leave them in a lurch when we roll this stuff out. So we try to be kind of as transparent as we can.
I really like the fact that you do tell not only your users, but your developers and everybody else the types of things that you're working on, so you don't get blindsided and you can actually start preparing for it.
Exactly.
That's really cool. So again, I'd really like to thank Kyle Ford, Director of Product Marketing at Ning, for being here today and talking about social communities and specifically talking about Ning. Kyle, truly, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks. This has been Lon Safko, the co-author of the Social Media Bible. Be sure to check out our other valuable social media tactics, tools, and strategies that can be found in the Social Media Bible book and its companion website, www.thesocialmediabible.com. And for more information about me, Lon Safko, please, by all means, visit my website at www.lonsafko.com. And again, Kyle, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.